Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing a Magikey deck profiles. I'm really excited to do this with you guys because this is a really awesome deck that uses a bunch of different summoning mechanics. Everything from Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Izzy, and even Link summoning is in this deck, which is really awesome. The only mechanic that it actually doesn't use is Pendulum summoning, which is kind of interesting, but maybe in future support. So, without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards like getting your name description every single video, getting assigned cards to the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron along with test hands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Magikey McMusket, which is a awesome card for the deck and going to be one of the cards you're going to be going into all the time, because if this card is ritual summon, you can add a Magikey card from your deck to your hand, which is an awesome effect just to be able to get a search off of a ritual sign. It also has the ability that once per turn when an attack is declared involving this card in an opponent's monster that has the same attribute as a normal monster or a Magikey monster in your graveyard, you can place any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck, and if you do, negate the effects of that opponent's monster until the end phase of the turn. Then you get to draw the same number of cards placed on under your deck, which is a awesome effect just to give you multiple draws. We then play a single copy of Magikey McMortar. McMortar is a really good card as well. It has a high defense position, or has high defense at 2800, but it also has some really good effects that when it's ritual summoned, it gains 300 attack for each different attribute in your graveyard. So this card can get a really big in attack points as well, which is really awesome. And you can only use the effects of this card once per turn. When your opponent activates a effect of a monster with the same attribute as a monster in your graveyard, if at least 2 attributes of monsters were used in this card's ritual summon, you can quick effect use the effect to negate the activation to destroy that card. And if this ritual summon card is sent to the graveyard, you get to add a Magikey monster from your deck to your hand, which is a really awesome effect. We then play 3 copies of Magikey Sky Blaster. This card is going to be one of the cards that you're going to be using all the time for ritual summons. This card is extremely important as a 3 of in the deck. It is a 1900 normal monster, but it helps out the deck a lot because the entire deck revolves around using this particular card for summons and using normal monsters in general. So this card being a dark normal monster is just really helpful. It's also searchable, and you can special summon it to your side of the field off of stuff like Unexpected Die and some other tech cards in the deck. We then play 2 copies of Angel Trumpeter. Angel Trumpeter is very helpful because it's a tuner earth plant normal monster. It's also a 1900 attack point monster. This card helps out a lot in the deck because it is a tuner monster, so it can help you go into synchro plays. It can help you go into cards like Needle Fiber, and it's just an overall fantastic card in this deck. We then play a single copy of the Sous Ship Rice. Sous Ship Rice is really good as well because it's a 2000 attack point fire monster. So you're playing 3 of the really powerful prevalent typings in the game, which is fire, earth, and dark, so you can get away with negating certain effects with those 3, which is really helpful. We then play 3 copies of Rescue Rabbit. Rescue Rabbit is super helpful in this deck because the deck revolves around normal monsters, and it has the ability that you can banish this card you control, special summon 2 level 4 or lower normal monsters with the same name from your deck, but destroy them during the end phase. So this card really helps out to be able to special summon the 2 normal monsters that you need to your side of the field. It's just an overall really good card. It's why you play 2 copies of the Angel Trumpeter and 3 of this. You're never going to summon the Rice off of it because Rice is basically just there just in case you need a negate of a fire monster, but these are very important. We then play 3 copies of Despot 03 because Despot 03 helps you go into some really awesome plays. It's one of the best normal summons in the entire deck, and it's a tech that I'm playing in here because it helps you go into stuff like your copies of your Awardon and into some really good plays as well. We then play 2 copies of Despot 01 because when you normal summon the Despot 03, it's going to let you special summon from the deck a copy of Despot 01, and then you can just go off into your plays into your Auroradon combo, which is really helpful for this deck. We then play a single copy of Coldwing because it's really helpful for the Auroradon combo to special summon this card to your side of the field off the effective Auroradon, because then it will activate both of your copies of your Despot 01s that are going to be in the graveyard mid-combo to be able to special summon them back to your side of the field to go into additional plays. This card helps out a lot in the deck. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom as well. The 3 copies of Ash Blossom are here basically just to stop your opponent from touching the deck, and it's a really helpful card for that. We play 3 copies of Cyframe Gear Gamma and a single copy of Driver. These are basically just here to stop you from getting hand trapped, because sometimes you'll try and ritual summon and your opponent will try and stop you with certain card effects, and this card can just chain to those cards effects and stop your opponent from stopping you with hand traps. So this card is very helpful in this particular deck. And plus it gives you a level 8 monster on the field that's a synchro monster, or it can let you link, or it can get you into some really good plays. But overall, Cyframe Gear Gamma and Driver in this deck is just really good. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Terraforming, because Terraforming helps out the deck a lot because this card lets us search our field spell, and the field spell is insanely good. We play a single copy of Double or Nothing, because Double or Nothing just helps us go into Utopia Double to be able to swing for game. So this card is a very, very good one-of, because basically what you do with this card is you make Utopia Double, you detach the material off the Utopia Double, summon a copy of Utopia, search the deck for a copy of Double or Nothing. The Utopia comes out at 5,000 attack. You can then swing at the opponent, negate the attack, drop Double or Nothing, and then you go back in for an additional 5,000 boost, because this card doubles the attack of your Utopia for a 10,000 swing, which can usually end games, but the only downside is the Utopia can't attack directly. But if your opponent has a monster that has anywhere close to 2,000 or less attack points, depending on what their life points are, you will instantly win. We then play a single copy of Instant Fusion, because Instant Fusion is really good in this deck because it helps you get out your Magikey Beast. We play a single copy of High Ritual Art. High Ritual Art is a new card that came out of Dawn of Majesty recently. And this card helps out the deck a lot because basically what this card does is it lets you use a ritual monster that's in your hand to ritual summon cards from your deck. So basically, if you want to summon the McMusket from the deck, you just have to use a normal monster that you have in your hand and send that card to the graveyard. So this card is very helpful. We then play 2 copies of Advanced Ritual Art, because if you have a ritual monster in your hand, you can then use the ritual monster or you can use the normal monsters from the deck instead. So you play 6 normal monsters in the entire deck. So this card comes in really handy to be able to use against your opponent, or because you're going to be able to basically ritual summon for basically 1 card, which is really awesome, and also milling something to the graveyard to get your Magikey monsters effect. So this card comes in really handy for the deck. We then play 2 copies of Magikey Maftia. Maftia is really good in this deck. Maftia is basically a fusion and a ritual card mixed into one. This card is a definite 2-up to me. It's searchable, which is why I only play double Maftia, but has the ability to fusion summon a Magikey fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters in your hand or field as fusion material, or ritual summon a Magikey fusion, or ritual summon a Magikey ritual monster from your hand by attributing monsters from your hand or field who total level equal or exceed the level. And if you control a normal monster, you can also send normal monsters from your deck to the graveyard as well as materials for the tribute, which is really good for this card because basically it's like an additional advanced ritual art, but this card comes in really, really handy. We then play 3 copies of Magikey World. Magikey World is a ridiculously powerful card in this deck, because when it's activated, you get to add any Magikey monster from your deck to your hand. And then it also has the ability that the first time each non-tuner or non-token normal monster you control would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, each turn it is not destroyed, and during the main phase, you can add 1 Magikey Maftia from your deck to your hand, and then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of your deck, and you only use the effect of this card once per turn, which is a really good effect just to be able to search your Maftia directly from the deck to get plays off, to get fusion plays off, and to get ritual plays off as well. We then play 3 copies of Unexpected Die, because you play so many normal monsters in this deck. It's just a no-brainer to play 3 copies of Unexpected Die, because it's going to let you special summon out any of your normal monsters, and basically at that point, a normal summon turns into a copy of Needle Fiber as long as you have a single Angel Trumpeter in the deck. So this card is really, really good to go a full Auroradon combo, because if you special summon out your copy of your tuner monster with Unexpected Die and the normal summon anything from your hand, you're going to get your play off, which is really cool. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the single trap that we're playing. And the 1 trap we're playing is a single copy of Magikey Unlocking. So Magikey Unlocking is a great counter trap. It has the ability that when your opponent activates a spell or trap card, while you control a Magikey ritual monster or Magikey monster, you can special summon from your extra deck, and then, or they special summon from the extra deck, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Then you can declare an attribute, and if you do, for the rest of the turn, all face-up monsters your opponent controls become that attribute, which is really helpful because it helps you out a lot with some of the effects of your ritual monsters and your fusion monsters with this card. So this card is a really good one-of in the deck. It's searchable, so I just play it as a one-of. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for our instant fusion target, we're going to be playing a single copy of Magikey Beast. Usually you're going to be using Instant Fusion to summon this card out to your side of the field because Instant Fusion is just really good with this card, but sometimes you actually will summon this card legitimately. But it has the ability, if this card is Fusion Summon, you get to add a Magikey Maftia from your graveyard to your hand. And if this card is used, or if this card, you can only use this card once per turn, and once per turn, You can target one attack position monster your opponent controls with the same attribute as a normal monster or a Magikey monster in your graveyard and change it to defense position. If you do, it loses 1,000 defense points. So it's a really good card to help you get an additional tuner on the field because this card is also a fusion tuner. We then play a single copy of the Magikey Dragon. I just like one copy of it. I probably wouldn't play this card at any more than one. The Beast, I thought about playing it too, but this card I wouldn't play it any more than one because it's a little bit difficult to go into because it does require a Magikey effect monster plus a normal monster to go into this card. And when this card is fusion summon, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects, and then once per turn, you can target one normal monster or Magikey monster in your graveyard, destroy all monster opponent controls with the same attribute as that monster. And then once per turn, if an opponent's monster with the same attribute as a monster in your graveyard is destroyed by battle by card effect, if this card was fusion summoned using two monsters with different attributes, you get to draw a card, which is really cool. We then play a single copy of Borreload Savage Dragon. Borreload Savage is really good in this deck because you do play a lot of link monsters, and this card helps out giving you additional negations. Play a single copy of Omega because you're playing Driver and you're playing the copies of the Gamma, so this card's really easy to go into and rip cards out of your opponent's hand. One copy of F.A. Dawn Dragster. This card is part of the Auroradon combo that you're going to be able to special summon this, and a copy of Herald of Arclight, which we play 2 Herald of Arclights, because this card is really easy to actually synchro summon into. And this card actually, when it's sent to the graveyard, lets you search either a ritual monster or ritual spell, so this card helps out a lot in the deck to be able to search certain cards that you might need. So I play 2 copies of it, and it's very easy to summon in this deck. We then play a single copy of Utopia Double and a single copy of Utopia. These come in really handy as well to help you end games, because basically with this combo, you're going to be able to drop the copy of Utopia Double, search Double or Nothing, lay the Utopia on top of it. It comes out at 5,000. Attack, negate the attack, drop Double or Nothing, and then you swing again for 10,000, which is really cool. One copy of Access Code Talker. This could be a Borreload, it could be a Boral Sword, whatever you need it to be, but keep in mind as you're playing through this deck that you don't have as many effect monsters as you think you do. So this card actually does require effect monsters to go into it, and so do the Boral monsters, so you got to keep that in mind as you play this deck. This could be an Appaloosa, which I believe does not require that. It just requires monsters with different names, so you could use an Appaloosa instead, which is a little bit more budget as well. We then play a single copy of Unicorn to spin stuff, which is really helpful. Auroradon to give us full Auroradon combo and give us tokens on our side of the field, which is really helpful to go into some synchro plays, like our copy of our F.A. Dawn Dragster and our Heralds of the Arclight. One copy of Crystron Needle Fiber. This card is very helpful and one of the most pivotal cards in the entire extra deck, because you're going to be using this card to get out your copy of your Despot 01 from the deck to be able to go into additional synchro plays and link into your copy of your Auroradon. We play a single copy of IP Masquerena, because IP Masquerena lets us link on our opponent's turn. And then finally, a single copy of Cross Sheep, because Cross Sheep has the ability to view Fusion Summon, which is the primary means that you're going to be going in this deck. Is if you Fusion Summon, you get special summon a level 4 lower monster from the graveyard. And if you Ritual Summon, you get to draw 2 and then discard a card, or discard 2 cards. So this card comes in very handy for the Fusion aspect and the Ritual aspect, which is really, really good. So that's it for this deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy this Magikey deck. And I know you guys have been requesting it like crazy, so I'm excited to actually bring this one to you guys. And it's a really fun deck. I can't wait to get the rest of the support for this deck in the next set, because this deck is going to be really fun with the new support. With the current support, it's pretty good, and I really think that it's a fun deck to play around with, but I'm excited to see what this deck can do once we get the rest of it. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.